I'm telling you, as a college coach, we do not recruit from your highlight reel. Welcome to Signed and Ready, the podcast for college-bound softball players and the people who support them. I'm Mel Rushing, here with my Metal Sweet Spot co-founder, Alicia Smith. Together, we're giving you the edge coaches actually recruit. Mental toughness, confidence, and resilience under pressure. Because exposure gets you seen, but leadership gets you signed. Let's make it happen. Real. You absolutely get noticed from it, but what we recruit is how you handle yourself in the hard moments, especially. That's what we're looking for. Short of hoping that you will fail. We're kind of looking for that. Like, okay, let's see. Because that's what is really going to happen at our level is it's going to be more stressful, just the nature of things. You've got a lot more new things going on. So we have to see, is she going to be able to handle it here? That's what we're looking for. So today, that's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about a few things. The first thing, Alicia, I want to talk about what's called the invisible resume. Some people call it intangibles. I wish they were tangible because to me they are. Like, this is coaching. This is life. The things that, like, okay, you can't measure them, but they are the most important to getting those measurables you want. The batting average, the ERA, the scholarships. So talk to me about your girls in particular, or the girls you see that have these intangibles. What does it look like?
Resiliency. And I know or grit, those would be two words that I could say is what it looks like. We talk about those words a lot. As coaches, we preach it, but it's on our side, it's how do we teach it, right? So it shows up on the field. But I think when you can actually demonstrate resiliency and grit on the field, it's obvious. It's an intangible. It's a separator. You can definitely tell those kids that have the mental fortitude to work through it, right? And to react in a way to an error that is not only gritty but resilient, but just in a way that's a positive interaction that allows them to take the next play, get the next ball, have the next at bat. And that idea of okay, and move out. Okay, and move on. And you hear about this in professional sports even all the time. They talk about the quarterbacks in the NFL who make a bad throw and they say next one. And the next time they're like perfect throw. And that is something that can be trained. I believe that through the right programs and the right coaching, but also the player wants to. They have to want to. And if you want to, then it opens up your ability to be flexible and understand and accept failure, because like you said, at the next level, there's even more of it. You're also not at home. You also have a different academic standard that is new. Everything is new your freshman year. And I can't believe, I don't even remember what that's like to go from high school to college. It was so long ago, but you're on your own for the first time. That raises a lot of pressure and raises the pressure, I guess, for you and the weight that you're feeling. So every little mistake sometimes in their minds can be magnified. And you want to be able to have them think about those mistakes in a different way to help them build the resiliency. Because once they leave college and they're beginning to choose to have families or in a career, all of that stuff brings even more.
Yes. And so to dig into the getting these young girls to want this, because like the adults are like, yeah, that's what we need. But they're
Yeah.
like, but I just want to hang out with my friends and just play some softball. Uh, what are the specific things when you don't have that grit and resiliency that coaches are going to notice, and then it's going to basically make you take a step back? What are the physical things that kids might do if they don't commit to this?
I mean, there's the negative body language sometimes, and we all do it. I'm guilty. Sometimes when you're really upset about something, you might lash out at the people that you're closest to. And so you can react in a negative way, or blaming a teammate, or reacting in a way that isn't really who you are. But the stress and pressure sometimes changes who we are in the moment, because we're so focused on, oh my God, I just lost my scholarship because the coach behind the home plate is watching this and I didn't field the ground ball, and now everything is crumbling. And negative body language, maybe yelling at a teammate, or the next ball will always find you. We know that as softball coaches and parents, the next ball is coming and the error is magnified. And those are the times when you're just, you as a coach are working to help them work through that. That's the whole point, right? This is going to happen. So what does the next step look like? And those are choices. I really, really believe we have a choice in the moment on what that next step looks like. But if we don't have that next step, right, but this is what is key to development of players that separate the great from the best or the good from the great is the next step. What does the next step look like for you? And that's the piece where the grit and resiliency really starts to show in a positive way, where the next time, what do you do with it?
And we've talked about like the opposites, right? The like when you're not being that, there's the eye rolls and the like the pouting. And
Yeah.
then there's the like the ultimate when like you can bounce back right away and get that next play. You're talking about professional quarterbacks. They are very good at it because they've been doing this for years and they are paid to do so.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
they have all the resources and don't you think for a second they don't have trainers like Alicia as well in their ear every
100%.
single day. So, what are the things in the meantime that you see girls doing to simply be intentional, to make the next right choice, even if they completely melt down? They have a moment. That's what I tell my girls is like, moments are going to happen. The key is to get better and better and shorten that time between like the, oh, this sucks and the, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
When you're starting out, it feels like, yes,
Yes.
so far away.
Yes.
So, what are the things in between that you're seeing?
But taking a deep breath, I think, is the first thing because if we can just kind of help let that go, right? And there's some tools that we talk about, right, in the Ready for Offers that help us work through step by step to help shorten that time. And I think one of the main key messages here is it's not about not feeling the thing when it happens. You're going to feel the thing. Disappointment, anxiety, judgment, frustration, being mad. All of those things are happening, and that part, I think sometimes we have shifted to the point from both parents and coaches to it's don't feel the thing, just move on. But we do feel the thing. And when we do, and we don't know how to handle it and move to the next step of taking the deep breath and going through a couple things to help us work through what this can help us get to the other side for the next play, that's the piece that's I think has been missing. And when you can implement these things, very simple, easy, quick tools to be able to help you shorten that time between the time the event has happened, that's a negative thing, the feelings that we're feeling, and then being able to recover and move on. Shortening that time, like you mentioned, is key. But the how-to piece is really what's important, and it starts with taking a really deep breath.
Ah, the magical belly breath. I just had one of my freshmen in my office talking about the same thing. Like, it's the best tool.
Yes, it is.
So, there still might be some players, even parents, who are like, okay, yeah, yeah, sounds great. But who cares if it doesn't help them have more strikeouts? Who cares if it's not helping her like hit the ball further? I am very adamant about this. I hate traditional stats.
Mhm.
So please make that tie for us. What is the difference between, of course, having goals and using those measurable stats? Because it's easier to see a hit than it is a quality at bat sometimes. It's more objective. But what is the difference between focusing only on those stats and focusing on the choices and behaviors and the person you're being? What's the difference in the experience they have afterward when they make that shift?
It, it changes fundamentally not only who you are, because that's the key, right? It and what we're all looking for are to develop these young humans because when they go to college, they have the tools already, at least to fall back on, right? To help shorten time. One of my former players who is now a junior in college, I just talked to her this summer. We had dinner and we were talking about the program. And she says, Coach, I can tell you that I still struggled in the fall of my freshman year, just like every other freshman did. But the difference was by the time the spring came, my overall time was shortened. of how I reacted and how I adjusted. The adjustment time for her was shorter than kids who had not played for me because specifically she said of the tools that she had in place. So as far as that transition or to the next at bat, it isn't an instantaneous change. Like that's impossible because we have to work on it. But what happens over time is the reaction of striking out is shorter and we're not taking it out onto the field. How many pitchers are there that pitch better when they don't hit? I've had both, right? But some pitchers only want to pitch because if they don't do well hitting, it carries over to their pitching. Well, what if we had tools to help reduce that time of I failed up on offense and now I have to go pitch? Could they actually become a more effective pitcher, right? Because they've struggled hitting or learned something when they were up to bat. Those I think are the ties that can happen as well. But it's still going to shorten the time, right, between feeling and reaction. And over a period of time, you start to care a little bit less about your stats and you focus a little bit more on the transition or the tools. Then you can just start to play more free. And we all know what happens when we play more free. We actually play better.
Oh, and for those listening in, I just did the prayer hands emoji where they're both up.
It's
Uh,
true. It's
because
true.
that is the ultimate. From the girls I'm watching and recruiting to my girls I'm coaching at the college level to the stories I hear Alicia talk about with her high school girls, like that is the ultimate playing free. So, to remind you again, stats get you notice, presence gets you offers.
Mhm.
So, last bit of advice, Alicia, how to focus on presence instead of just what stats you're getting, how many home runs, how many strikeouts.
Sometimes that's a difficult thing, right? Because we can't be two places at once. We can't multitask. Our brain is scrambled sometimes when we're going through all this. And I think if you can really just always take a deep breath and be grateful for being able to play and just take in the moment. I remember specifically before our semifinal game at Michigan State a few years ago, my pitcher and catcher were in the bullpen and they were just sitting down and just looking around and giggling and laughing. And I said, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And they're like, "Coach, we're just taking it in. We're just taking it in because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity." And, like it's stuff like that where they can change the focus of what they're focusing on. I know it sounds kind of silly sometimes, but it really is genuinely true. If you can change your focus to being present on the field, enjoying your teammates, right? And cheering on the successes and helping the teammates through the failures, it just becomes more free, more loose, and in a way it's really magical to watch when it happens. Because as coaches and parents, we've all seen it at times, right? When the kids are just playing, and we can probably revert back to when they were little, when they're just playing because they don't care about this stuff. And it's a hard thing to do, there's no doubt, but having the tools to be able to shift your focus to the thing where you're present on the field and enjoying it again, because I do also think a lot of this has taken the joy away from the sport for some of these girls, and it's really unfortunate because they love this game, but it has become something else. So they despise the game because of how they feel. And we really want to shift that mindset so it becomes fun, it becomes they're present on the field and they can perform. And regardless of the performance, they can walk off that field and not hang their head.
Ah, so good. Because, yeah, there's a difference between being disappointed at the performance and feeling
Yes.
like you're a disappointment.
Yes. You are, yes, softball is something that you do. It isn't who you are. And we get wrapped up in that too much.
Hmm. Well, on that note, this is exactly what we talk about and Ready for Offers. I think one of my favorite things about putting this together with Alicia was even as I was listening in, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go. Like it really focuses on the empowerment piece. Your girls have put in the work. You have as well, parents and coaches. Like you can feel like you can check that off. We never stop working, of course, but you've hit that milestone. That is good. Now we need to shift to the intentionality piece, the feeling empowered, the feeling proud when they do things right and they persevere. So, Check that out, mentalsweetspot.com/ready for offers, and can't wait to see you in there.